Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. Welcome and welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. I know it's the 2nd of January, but I didn't do a video yesterday. So Happy New Year. Right, what am I doing? I'm making a junk journal ideas book. Yeah, this is the last one that I've used. It was for me. It's not pretty. I might make this next one a little bit prettier. But yeah, it's just quite basic, very functional. It's held up pretty well, and I've been using this about 1.5 years. Yeah, but it's full, so I need another one. Right, I'll show you what I'm making it out of this time. I happen to have I've had these a good few years. Yeah, they did come from charity shop. It's called Practical Knowledge for All. You don't have to use this book. This is just the one I'm using. This set is from the 50s, and it is a cloth on the cover. I don't know what it's covered with, but it is cloth. So, I'll show you one I made earlier. Yeah, so basically turn the book cover into that. And I will be putting holes in it, just as I did my last one, threading elastic through, and then I can slip pages in and out. The other thing I will be doing in this one for every signature is this. Now, this is one I did right back at the beginning of last year as part of the DD for Argos. It was a pockets challenge. I can't remember the exact name of it. Yeah, so this. And I'm going to use one of these as the cover for each signature. Yeah, I'm going to make it slightly different size so that it fits that book. And I'll show you how to make it so that it fits any book, any size. Yeah. Right, pop that to one side for now. So the first thing you're going to need to do is gut your book. Take the book block out of it. Yeah, and this one, I haven't taken any pages out of it yet. These are some of the pages I put in my mixed paper and book page packs on Etsy. Right, I've got a new tool to do this with. I'll show it you. It's one of these finger swivel knives. Yeah, and when I cut my finger on my scissors the other day, look, I'm showing it wrong finger. It's better than it was. Still a bit tender. I'm a nightmare, I tell you. So let's open this and let's see if this is any better than a regular craft knife, which I'm not very good with. And yeah, it was only £4 this. Do we do it that way? Oh, I don't like look at it that way. I don't even think I like look at this at all. What you're supposed to do, yeah, you're supposed to do that. Oh, that's it. I've got it. You do that with it. Oh, that does feel quite sturdy and secure. I'm a little bit intimidated by how narrow that blade is. Right. So have I put my camera high enough up? Yeah, I tried to get it high enough up to get the book in, but not too high that you couldn't see. So can you see that? Yeah, it is an old book. It's got a hollow spine. And what we want to do is, at one side, we want to leave this cover page. Yeah, it don't matter which side. I'm thinking that one might have a little rip. It don't matter if it's got a little rip. Let's try for the back side first. So, I want to cut this. I'm going to try for this side first because I've got more room. So I'm going to come in, fingers well out of the way. Oh, that's quite a sharp little blade. And I want to cut it there. Oh, quite like this. Can you see? I'm now going to lay it flat to keep going. Ooh. These old books are sometimes really easy to take apart. You'll find, can you see, there's little strips of cloth that go across as well that help strengthen things. This blade's twiddling. It's twizzling. Oh dear. Twizzling. Let's get another whirl. Maybe it's me twizzling this in my hand. I'm not quite happy about how narrow that blade is. Maybe I should have got one with a chompier blade. But this is coming apart pretty easy. If you can get your scissors in, go ahead and do it with scissors. I struggled with last one to get scissors in. Let me try again. Oh, I can get them in now. Yeah, why faff about with craft knives when you can use a pair of scissors? Oh, look. If it does go wrong and you poke holes in it, it can always be fixed. There's lots of videos of people chopping books up like this. It's no. If you don't like how I'm chopping it up, you might find someone with an easier method. Right, so we've managed to get that off. Oh yes, we've got that. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is quite a sturdy book. Let me show you this. I tried to rip that on the other one and I couldn't. It doesn't rip, it will stretch, but it won't rip. So it's quite sturdy. It's got a piece of, I don't know if that's card or some kind of thin leather. It's card, yeah. I did think the book cover was leather at first, but I looked it up and it is book cloth. But it's quite sturdy, this, so there's not a lot of reinforcing I'm going to need to do to it, which makes me happy. Right, so now I want to take this one off. Because I've managed to get my intact cover at the front, I can go ahead and just cut this one straight up the paper bit here. So I'm not bothered if my edge is a bit rough and ready, because it's going to get covered up. Let's see if that's, yeah, that's doing okay. I'm not using my Timothy Alt scissors this time. I'm just using my, I can't remember what brand these were. I bought them thinking they might be as good as the Tim Alts. They're not bad, but they're not quite as pointy. The points are a bit chunkier. But sometimes that's a good thing. If you're going to cut your fingers like I do with pointy bits. So, well, that's coming out pretty nice. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how this has gone. Now, this is only for me, but you could use this. You could do it just like this to make any junk journal cover. Just when I'm doing an idea book for me, I don't want to go to the extra trouble of covering all the covers with fabric or whatever. It's for me. And I like the look of these books. They'll look quite nice on my bookshelf. And I do have a set of 4. They do come in a set of 5 where I've only got 4 of them. So I've got 4 idea books to go at. Right, next, I'm just going to take that page off. Whee. There we go. Right, now this bit's flapping about in wind. Well, no, in wind. Oh, that one's stuck down pretty good. So I'm going to use my art glitter because it's going to dry quick. Just use ordinary PVA or whatever glue you fancy. So I've stuck that down. There's a little bit there I really don't need. That can go, that can. It's just going to create a bit of bulk that we don't really need. It's all extra bits of cloth and the glue. So just tidy that up a bit if you want. I'll get rid of that packaging, it's quite annoying. Yeah, jury's out on that. I'll put a lid on it before I slash myself. Jury's out on whether I even like this. I don't know. I'm not keen, I don't think. Right, next, get that end paper. Now, I'll show you the one I'd already done. This tape with that side, it's gone over. You just want to get it so that it's all nicely fitted into the spine. I can go ahead and cut some off first. I'm going to do this with my Timmy trimmer. So I want to cut it anywhere about there will do. I'm going to put a little snip so I know where. I'm going to put pockets or something on these inside covers. So it doesn't really matter where I have this ending. but that looks good. Hold that down and chop it off. Right, because I find it easier to work with right hand, I'm going to turn the book upside down for this bit. Right, I'm going to put some glue in here. Can you see? That's going to be under there. Just so that's not... At one point that was all glued. Yep. Then I'm going to put glue all over here. Like I say, use your PVA. You really don't need art glitter for this. I just want it to dry a little bit quicker. Or I can use anything. I sometimes use Mod Podge. Sometimes I'll use the Yes paste. You can even use Fabri-Tac and 3-in-1. I don't tend to like it. I don't like feeling it on my hands. I'm a bit weird. Right. So, get that right into that corner. If you put your book like that and do it, it'll let you, can you see what I mean? It'll let you really get it in. Then when you put it down, you've got that crease that you want. You want it so that, look, when you close the book up, it's not going to pucker, but it'll let you open the book without tearing, yeah? If you don't get it into these creases, there's a chance that you're going to tear your papers. And you don't want that. Right. So I'm pressing down everywhere where I've glued. Then I'm going to lift it up again. And I'm going to... This is the side that's not glued. Use your bone folder here if you need, but be careful you don't poke a hole through your paper. If you do, we'll just cover it up with another piece of paper. But it's one job we don't want to have to do, isn't it? Don't ever be afraid of getting it wrong. There's no wrong, is there? It's just a little bit different to how we first intended. So that's looking good. So I'm now going to go ahead and get some glue in here. So put a bit there. Not the tidiest. Now this bit here I'm going to do with my glue stick. I'm using my Elmer's 3-in-1. So that glue's okay for now. Just going to stick something under there, and I'm just going to cover that whole bit with my Elmer's. Because I don't want to make an awful mess with glue glooping out, squishing out. Put that away. So, get that back in that crease. Again, use bone folder if you want, or whatever you're using. And there we go. I'm not too bothered if that's not 100% straight. I'm going to do that again. I think that's looking good now, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not going to lift this up again now until that's dry. I'll just... Right, can you see? Yeah, that's looking good now. A little bit of a wrinkle here that's not behaving itself. Just get that pushed in there. There we go. That's the paper. in. Right, I am now just going to swap to the one I did earlier because it's going to be completely dry, yeah? And I can punch holes in it now it's dry. I'll let that one dry. Yeah, I'm back. I went, you probably didn't notice, but I'm back. I was trotting on and I'd missed a piece out. Right, as I've said, my book is nice strong book cloth, so I'm not going to reinforce that spine anymore. But if your book isn't nice strong book cloth, if it's just paper, we don't want a wobbly spine because it could tear. Right, so need to cut a piece of, this is grey board, it was the back of a paper pad, and you want to cut it the height of your spine or the height of the paper that's lining your spine, and mine happens to be 9 1/4, and I've measured that. It was just under 1.5 the width of my spine. Can you see how that fits in nicely? The book can close, so that is cut at 1 3/8 inch. So it's 9, let's write it down, 1/4 high and 1 3/8 inch wide. Yeah, that'll save me putting it on screen, won't it? Right, then what we're going to do is wrap that piece with that. Yeah, I just think it makes it look nice and neat. You could put it on under that, but it does make it trickier. This is a much easier way of doing it, I find. I've done it both ways and I prefer it like this, because this way does give you this extra piece of paper to wrap your piece of grey board in. I'll tell you the width of that. I think it's, well, it's less than 1/8 inch. Yeah, you know the kind of stuff. I think you actually call it chipboard, don't you, in US? This would be lightweight. It's not as thick as the medium weight. Yeah. Right, so now I'm going to grab my glue stick. Try and put lid back on. When do I ever? I'm just going to cover that in glue stick. This is my Elmer's Extreme. It's a lovely, strong glue stick. So this will be good enough for this bit. Clean that. I'm going to have to clean this soon. It's got glue all over. And then pop that on your piece of end paper. There you go. I've cut mine a smidgen shorter than my paper. It weren't intentional, it just happened. But world has indeed not ended. Now I'm going to put PVA or my art glitter down there. I'm going to use my bone folder to just fold that bit up. If you don't have bone folder, you can perhaps do it with your nail, whatever, your butter knife. I reckon you're going to have a bone folder if you've done any other craft, or if you're more than a week into junk journaling. I bet you've bought a bone folder. I would call it an essential, really. You can use it for so many things. Then I'm going to do the same with that. See, I didn't do it with a bone folder that time. Right, then I'm going to come in and grab a piece of messy paper. Again, I'm just using my glue stick for that. But I did want that bit of wet glue just to make sure the ends were nice and flush. Nice and crisp. Yeah, that looks good. Then do exactly the same with that side. Whee! Move that out of the way now. And there we have it. Piece of chipboard wrapped in exactly the same paper. And you can just pop that there. And look how neat that looks. That is so neat. You know, I think I might use it anyway. Even though I think it doesn't need it, I think I'm going to use it. Yeah, just use it, woman. Just use it. Right, next thing, we're going to mark this now we've got it. Yeah, it's going to make life easier all around to use this, isn't it? So, we're going to mark this for where to put our holes for our signatures. I'm doing 3 signatures. So we know this, well, it was before we wrapped it, 1 3/8. It's a smidgen more now. So what you want to do is you want to find middle and put a mark, and then your 2 areas left, find middle, put a mark. Yeah, if that makes any sense. I'm going to do that using my centering ruler because it makes life so much easier. And I want it to be, this is 9 1/4. If we put it about 1/4 inch from top, we'll still get a page in that's at least 8 1/2 high. I'm using this, I like this because you can measure how far down. That's 1/4 inch. Is it? If we turn it that way, that's definitely 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch from top. That's the centre. Put a mark. Yep. Then again, halfway along there, put a mark. I'm not going to give you measurements because your measurement is going to depend on how wide your spine is and how wide your piece of card is. So it's just halfway, then halfway on each side. I'm eyeballing it a little bit here. I might be playing with fire. I might end up with wonky signatures, but it's a risk I'm willing to take on my own journal. Yeah, woohoo. Such a risk take. I'll be skydiving next. Yeah, of course I will. Whee. So there we have it. We're getting a bit dark here today. Yeah, so 3 holes there, 3 there. Now before I start chomping, I'm going to stick this in here. Yep. So what shall I stick it with? Use your glue of your favourite glue of choice. I'm going to use my put lid on my glue stick. No, I'm not going to use my put lid on my glue stick. I'm going to use my art glitter again. So I'm going to put the glue on here. I'm using the side with the crease down so we don't see it. If that bothers you there, just colour it in with some. Don't bother me, I can live with that. And remember, a gang of angry baboons are not going to come and tear this out. So don't go mad with glue like I'm just about to. Whee, I put a bit much there, I don't want it to start glooping. Yeah, that'll do. Right. And then just pop it in. I'm lining the bottom up, laying it in the middle, and then 12 pip find its own, woo, stick it to your finger and move it. Yeah, miss that bit out if you want. I'm just going to do that. That will help it find its own centre. I'm going to press it down either side. Then I'm going to open it back up. Looks straight to me, so I'm going to press it down all over. There we go. Remember, we're going to put holes through there in the outer spine anyway, so that will help clamp it. Right, I'm just going to pause and go and make a cup of tea while this dries. Yep, that's all done ready. I'll be back in 2 ticks. Right, I reckon that's dry enough now. While that were drying, I glued my other one, so I've now got 2 at this stage. Right, I'm going to grab some eyelets. I want to use black ones, I think they'll look good. So I'm going to grab 6 of them. I'll probably lose 2. It's just me. Yeah. Right. Now, I'm using my small crocodile. You can use the big one, whichever one's easier. But because they're near the edge, you can get away with using the small one for this. And I'm going to use the larger hole, which is the 3/16. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gauge to line this up to make sure I get them all the same distance from the bottom of the book. Right, I need to move it down further. I could measure this and set it, but where would fun be in that? That looks about right to me. So I've got it set at 1/4 16, so that's 5/16. Yours may be different. Right, can I see? I'm going to have to slightly tilt this to me to line it up. And I want my dot in the centre of the hole. That's one. That's come out nicely. Yeah, because I've got natural light in front of me from the window, so I need to tilt it. I can't see that at all. Just sew it then. If I were doing this on my own, I would probably stand up and look at it, the light from the window. I just really can't see this. How awkward is that? Tell you what, let's redot that in something different. Do I have a white gel pen? No, but I have a Zig glue pen. That's not going to do it. What's this? What's this I've got? Pink's not going to show up very well on that, is it? What about turquoise blue? The things we do. That may show up a bit more. Maybe if I put a bigger dot round it. How awkward is this? That I can't see it. That's old eyes for you, that. Oh, I can actually see that a bit better now. There we go. Poke that out. They can be very annoying with this. These, using my blunt little craft knife. I've got it all out, yeah. And then it's really so difficult for me to see. Do I need new glasses? I think I may do. I'm just going to wing it. Yeah, blind man would be glad to see it, as my mum used to say. Right, you've seen me do 3, because that was so difficult. I'm just going to pause while I do the 3 and stand up and get in my window. There we go. I put my overhead light on. Oh, no, it's still on a bit. Oh, it can be a bit blinding in day like that. So, now we have our 6 L's, yeah. They've come in just above the title, which I'm really happy about. We've lost at the bottom where it says, did it say Waverley Books? But I love how it's ended up dead in the centre of those 2 gold lines, gilt lines. I quite like that. Right, so now it's time to pop all these in. I've had people ask me a few times what settings I use. For this, I'm going to use, is that A? And 2. So I'm using A2. So I'll start with my middle one. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely and neat. So much neater when you're going through something really thick, these. And these are the We Are Memory Keepers eyelets as well. I do like We Are Memory Keepers eyelets. They do work out a bit dear to be putting in everything though. But when it's a book cover or something like that, I do tend to use, especially if it's one I'm selling. Or one like this that I really don't want to fall apart. Oh, they've gone in so nicely. Oh yeah, so smooth. Can't feel those at all. Then we'll do the other 3. I've done ever so well. I've not lost any of those eyelets I got out ready. I'm doing well. There we go. That's the last one. I know I've done very similar things to this before, but each time I do it, I just find a way that simplifies it and makes it easier. And this so far is my easiest way to do it. Right, got rubbish everywhere. So, oh, that's lovely. Now I'm going to thread some elastic in. I'm using this 1.5mm. I really couldn't tell you what that is in inches, people. It's really difficult to measure things like that. I'm guessing it could be about 1/8 of an inch. That looks like 1/8 of an inch to me. But you people in the US and other places where you're not metric will know this better than me. Now, you can go all fancy about binding this, but I'm just going to put 3 separate strips of elastic through, tie them in the middle. And that's just how I do it. So I'll go in there, back in the bottom there. I've got quite a bit of elastic to go out, 45 metres, so I'm not going to be a stingy skinflint with it. I'm going to make sure I've got enough to tie it properly. So I do find that kind of knot, you know how you put your ends together and you tie it like that, that kind of knot does tend to stay better. You don't want to be too tight so that it's going to rip your pages all the time, but you don't either want to be too loose so that it's baggy. That's too loose. Too loose so it's baggy, and now I've got my knot all tangled. So let's just do a standard knot for now. I think I need the help of a child to tie one like that. Yes, do it like that, woman. Twang, that's fine. So again, in there and up there. I mean, there are other fancier ways to do this. Like some people pull it down so the knots are at the bottom and they're hanging out the bottom. I find it just doesn't sit on my bookshelf right when I do that. I'm all about practicality with these. Cut that there. And I do also find over time the elastic goes baggy and I might want to rethread some different elastic. My other books fallen victim to that. My elastic's gone really quite baggy. That's looking good. And the last one. Yeah, I did an actual journal like this earlier this year, didn't I? Yeah, I did that with it, Vintage Botanical, that one with the, was it the, I forgot the name of the book now. It was on with the lovely blue end papers, but I've put cloth on the outside, whereas this is my idea book. I like the outside of these books, so I wanted to see them. They're not spectacular, but I quite like them. Oops. Go on. How many goes? How many goes? This is where you need the small child's help, isn't it? Put the finger on there. So, and that's the outside. I quite like that. That's looking good. Yeah. Oh, plays a tune. I haven't really gone. I'm back. The video wasn't as long as I thought, so I'm going to do my cover pages for my 3 signatures. Right, I also went ahead and finished the second book. The glue had dried, so I now have 2 identical books. Well, not quite, because I've cut. Can you see the difference? Just snipping those down makes. They don't look like spiders' legs anymore, do they? Right, so I'm going to make my cover pages from these 3 pages from the French industrial pad that was so kindly bought for me by the lovely Sylvia. I've chosen that greeny grey ticking and the 2 slightly different red ticking papers. Yeah, now I've gone ahead and measured one to make sure I've got my head around the measurements, because what we want to do is we want to score it not quite in half, because we're going to use this bit here to make the tab. Can you see? Yeah, we're going to cut everything off apart from the tab. So get one of your papers, whatever you're using, have the side that you want on the outside facing you, have it the correct way up in your scoreboard. And yeah, this is why I did one already, because I've forgotten the measurement where I need to score already, because I am really that absent-minded sometimes. Right, 6 1/4. We're going to score at 6 1/4. Put that out away, we don't need it. So 6 1/4. Score all the way down. Then we're going to turn it so that we've got the top here, and you want to score it for the height your page wants to be. My page needs to be 8.5 inches because that's what fits nicely between my elastics. So I'm going to score at 8.5 inches. Now, if your book's a little bit shorter or a bit taller, you can adjust where you score. You'll just get a deeper or a less deep pocket. So that's that. Right, when we've done that score, you need to cut up from the bottom up to there. We're just cutting a little V shape. Well, I like to do mine. I like to cut up to the score line on either side of the bump from where you scored it. And then when you fold those up, you've got that little bit there. This is when I tend to swap my little pointy scissors, just to make sure I'm perfectly up to that score line with each one. I wasn't quite. And then I like to cut that off like so. Then it's less likely to rip. So rather than it being a V, I just cut a sliver out. And it really is a sliver, look at that. So once you've done that, get your bone folder. Here mine is. Let me just crease those in nicely. And fold it over. And I'm now at the stage I was at with the one I'd pre-done. Yeah, I'll show you that again because I'm going to do it on my third one. So pop it in your scoreboard, outer side up. Score at 6 1/4 all the way down. Turn it around with the top there and score at the length, the height you want your page to be. Mine is 8.5, so I'll score there at 8.5. And I'm going to cut my bumpy bit out, just either side of the score. It just means that your page is not going to pucker up when you fold it in on itself. It's all going to want to go wonky, and yeah, not very nice if you don't cut this bit out, because this paper is quite thick. It's more like a thin cardstock. But you use any paper you want. You don't have to use the same as me for any part of this project. It will, the way I've shown you to do it is not dependent on the size of your book. Although, what I will say is, this part, you know how I've told you to score at 6 1/4, that will then give us a page. The whole thing will measure 6 inches, yeah? If you don't have, if your book is not that wide, just adjust that width. Say you can only have 5 inches, cut this paper down to 10 inches wide. Leave yourself a 1/2 inch there, and then whatever you've got left, say 9 1/2, score that halfway, which would be 4 3/4, wouldn't it? Yeah. But for this, we're using the full width of this 12 by 12 paper. Right, I've got 3 of these now, all at the same stage. Now what I've got to do is decide where my tabs are going to be. So I'll move my, actually no, I could do, yeah, I'll move my scoreboard. I'll get it on my mat. Let me just check the lighting, because it's that awkward time of day now where I'm going to be moving from natural light to electric light. Yeah, it's getting dark outside. Right. Oh, what's fallen? My chopper. Right. So I've got all my 3 pieces. And I want to put tabs between this point where the score line is and the end. Now, this is going to be a front one. I need the tab at the top. On there. This is my back one. And then there's my middle one. Yeah. So I want to put tabs on all these 3. One at the top, that one in the middle, that one at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my file folder. Yeah, there's an awful lot of file folder there, isn't there? So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut off the piece that I need. In fact, if I cut it to the size that I want, might make my life a bit easier. So I want it to measure 6 1/4 inches. By 8 1/2 inches. You don't have to cut yours to the same size as mine. I'm just doing this to help me do my tabs a little bit better. I'm running out of room on the floor to stash things. It's not a lot of room in a 6x6 cube. Right, I'm going to grab a pencil. One with a point on, preferably. You can tell kids haven't been at school nicking all my pencils that aren't sharp. Right, so I want a front tab on this one. So I'm just going to put this file folder, I didn't do it right size in end, up to the edge. Can you see? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around that. I'll draw along there so I know where to cut. Then I'm going to get my little 7 1/2 inch scissors, and I'm going to cut the shape of the tab. If you've got the tab punch board or the envelope punch board, you know how to use it, use it. I will link my video to where I showed you how to do the top tab with the envelope punch board. Right, now we have to be brave and cut all the way up there. So I'm going to grab my ruler. I think I've had 50 different rulers out in the course of this video. And I'm going to draw a straight line all the way down. And I'm going to cut with my scissors. How brave am I doing this? I'm normally a do everything on your paper trimmer kind of gal. I'm going to cut just up to where it starts to curve. And then I'm going to swap back to my little scissors. And I'm going to follow my pencil line around that curve. This is quite a big tab, you know. But I don't know, it might look good. Might not. So, I just need to get rid of that little pointy bit. Right, let's see what we've got. Let's see if it worked. So there. Oh, it worked. It's quite a big tab, but you know, I think I like that. It's going to be quite a deep book. So, now we're going to need to come in with a bit of glue. Find the bone folder in the pile of rubbish. I'm just going to bone fold those and that. And art glitter glue, where art thou? Could be, there it is, under my nose. Could it have been any closer? And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue down these pockets by putting a line of glue there, a line there, or glue them down with tape, whatever you like to glue your pockets down with. Yeah, stick that one before you go trying to glue the other one, woman. There we go. There we go. And just the same on this one. So that's one. Dab up any excess. I have started using, I do have a Timmy towel somewhere as Fiona calls it. Here we go, my old tea towel. I just forget to use it unless I've been watching Fiona. There you go. Get all the glue up. So there we have our first one. That's going to be the front one. I'll grab my book to pop it in. Oh, I'll grab the one where I have put the elastics down. So that is going to pop in there just like that. So that's going to be the cover from our front signature. And when the book is closed, you will see, look. It does nearly fill it. When it's open, of course. Yeah. So that's going to be the first signature cover. I'll take that back out because we're going to need to use it to help measure for our others. Right, so we now want to do the bottom. I'm going to do the bottom signature and the middle one last. So I want my other red page, which is this. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but at the bottom. And that's going to be where it is. Yeah? Because that is going to be a pocket. So I'm going to grab this one again. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to put that up to that crease. Put the edge up to the edge there. And again, I'm going to draw around this to get the shape of my tab. And I'll draw down there. So whatever shape tab you want to use, just cut it on a piece of card first. I'm using a pre-made one off a file folder. I think most of us, if we're into junk journaling, we've got file folders hanging about, haven't we? Right. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be brave. I don't need to cut all the way down to the pocket this time. I'm going to cut down my pencil line. Me cutting straight lines with scissors rather than trimmer, it's never been known. That's it. Then I'm going to swap to my Tim Holtz scissors to do the curved bit. I'm so quiet concentrating, aren't I? You can hear a pin drop in here. There we go. I think that could do a bit of trimming in a minute, but we'll see. Right, now we do need to cut this bit off. Yeah, because the pocket is only going to go up. Could we do? I suppose we could. No, it would look silly. I want to cut from there to there. So I'm going to draw a straight line down my pocket. Yeah, you probably can't see this. This is where my curved bit ends. That looks straight to me. So I'm going to cut across the crease at the bottom up to where that line is. And then I'm going to cut straight up that line. Swap to my pointy scissors, get that last bit. There we go. And then I'm going to follow the curve again for my tab. Can you see? It's really hard to see the pencil line. Actually, it's hard for me to see it. I could have done, mind you, if I'd have drawn it in a white gel pen, I wouldn't have been able to rub off. And then you fold that up to become your pocket. I quite like that. So let's go ahead and glue the pockets. Try and do it on camera, Julie. You are making a video, love. There we go. That's that. Yeah, I can't decide if that looks odd, but when it's closed, it doesn't look odd, if you see what I mean. Yeah, we'll just have to live with that. The other option would be to not have pockets. And I want my pockets. That's that one. And that. So we now have two. We've got the one with the top tab and the bottom tab. Next, we just need a middle tab. So this is my middle piece of paper. I'm just going to fold that under to help me guesstimate getting this tab in the middle. Yeah, I've already gone and drawn a line there where I need to cut. That looks about in middle. It doesn't have to be exact because these tabs overlap quite a bit, which I'm quite happy with. Right, get your pencil with a point on. It always works better than one that doesn't. And I'm going to draw around there again. Then I'm going to see where this tab comes to in relation to my pocket. Oh, it's fine. So, ooh, that's just on that line there. So, no, I better continue the line all the way down the inside of the pocket so I don't confuse myself. I'm easily confusable. So, that's that. So I'm going to cut all the way up again to the start of the curve of my tab. Bravely using the scissors. I've been very brave with these scissors today. I'm quite proud of myself. I'm getting a little bit more free and easy with my junk journals. Letting go of that perfection a little bit. And it is more fun. I just get an idea in my head, I want something, it's like, it must be like that. It must go correctly. So follow that curve round. And then I need to chop the last bit with my big scissors. There we go. Then I'm just going to take my rubber and rub out that pencil line. Because I'd already drawn a line at 1/4 inch down when I was deciding how deep my tabs needed to be. Right, so that's that, and I'm gonna glue these pockets on again, and then we should have all our 3 signature covers. Whee. That's one. I quite like these. I'm going to do some more with pockets. It's going to be, this is the thing that Kyung did was quite similar to this, but the genius thing that she did. The genius, which I could have done on these, but these are my cover ones. I'll stuff all sorts in these pockets. She cut out a section here. She used a die for it, but you could do it with a craft knife and put acetate so that you could see what went in pocket. I thought that was brilliant. I need to include some of those in my idea books. Right. So that's my third one. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We've managed to get all 3 tabs pretty much. Yeah, oh, I like that. Let's put them in book, see what they look like. I'll start with my back one. Like I say, it's just an idea book, but this could be a junk journal. Well, it is a junk journal. It's a junk journal idea book. I like my pages to be loose in my idea books because I don't know what idea I'm going to have next. Oh, I've put that wrong space. Silly woman. That goes in the middle. I do love this ticking with this lovely red book. Could not have gone better, could it? I know it's not very fancy and decorated yet, but the idea is to put all my things in that don't have a home yet. Look at that. And I do happen to have, just to one side of me, quite a few items that don't have a home. Ta-da! Ta-da! It's my altered playing cards that I did. And even the ones with pockets. Yeah. I do a lot of things in my journals that are held in with paper clips. I always have, always will. I think it makes my journals a bit more versatile when I sell them. They're ideal for people who want to actually journal and people who just want a bit of a fancy lookbook. There we go. So that's it. That's all my idea books are. They're filled with my ideas. If I have an idea for a page, I will do it and then pop it in there. So, right. That's that. I'm quite chuffed with that. It came really well. So that's it. 2 idea books. Got quite a bit of acreage there to be filling, ain't I? And then I won't make things and forget I've made them if I start to use them. I mean, look, did I do these? I don't think I did these on camera. Yeah, I've just got some little butterflies. Yeah, I think a nice acetate page would be nice there, wouldn't it? Yeah, or a page with little pockets. That could be good. It'll be a bit of a mixture of an ephemera folder and an idea book then, won't it? Yeah, I just made those out of some bits that were left on my desk after a project. So for now, I'll just pop those in there with that. So I'll stop waffling now and I'll pop off, because it probably has been about an hour, this video in total. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you give it a go. Yeah. It may take some pressure off if you decide you're making this for yourself, yeah? And if it doesn't go as you first planned, yeah, you can do something else, can't you? Yeah. Nothing goes wrong, it just goes a little bit different. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.